As the country gears up for the 2026 general election, the Parliamentary Registration Department is continuing its work in Grand Bahama, from advanced polling to the rollout of the new biometric voters card. Here to tell us more is Assistant Parliamentary Commissioner for Grand Bahama Office, Ms. Denise Pinder. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning and thank you.
Absolutely. So let's get right into it. Tell us, when and where will the advance poll take place in Grand Bahama?
So the advanced poll would be held overseas on Grand Bahama and in New Providence on Thursday, April 30th. At, and the polling hours will be the same as on election day, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Grand Bahama, the locations for the advanced polls are Central Grand Bahama will be at the City of Life building on Britannia Boulevard. For East Grand Bahama, the advanced poll center would be at the Eric L. Sam Center, and that's at the Church of the Ascension. And then for Marco City, the polling location will be the Belinda M. Wilson Convention Center on Ponce de Leon Drive. For Pine Ridge, the advanced poll center will be at the Foster B. Pastina Hall at the Pro Cathedral of Christ the King. And for West Grand Bahama, the advanced poll center is the 8 Mile Rock High School Gymnasium.
All right. And what do voters need to bring with them when they come to vote?
So as on election day, all voters must present some form of ID. That could be your voter's card. And we now have the biometric voter's card. So for persons who have the current card, which is the purple card, that card or the biometric card will be valid. Or in the event you don't have either of those, you can present a passport, the National Insurance Smart Card, or your driver's license.
Okay. And people coming to the advance poll, they should have registered already for this process, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So don't just show up there thinking that you can get in.
yes, you had to have come in or online, you applied via the Form K, and we should have reached out to you, contacted you to let you know whether you were approved or not, and you would have collected your special voter certificate.
Okay. So how is your team preparing to handle the amount of people that are going to be coming through for the election?
So in the past, when we held the advanced polls, the numbers were not very high, but since the introduction of new legislation to cover more special groups of persons, the numbers have, for us, skyrocketed.
Really?
So normally we'll only have one team working an advanced poll, but because of the large numbers in New Providence and in Grand Bahama, at each center we'll now have two teams processing the voters so that the lines are not too long.
Okay. And just walk us through that process for the advance poll. Once an individual comes in, what is the process from when they come in to when they actually vote and when they leave? What does that look like?
So as in a general election, when you arrive at the poll, you'll be greeted by the first person who is a clerk, and we call that person the floor clerk. Now that person will check your ID, particularly if it's a voter's card. You want to make sure you're at the right constituency for the advance poll. They would normally announce your particulars because in the advance poll we have our team and then we also have the agents. So you want to read off the data for the voter. So the register can be checked to see if they are on the register to vote for the advance poll. Their ID will be checked as they move along to the various team members, the carnival clerk, the register clerk, until they get to the presiding officer, who will advise them. Of course, everyone needs to have their right thumb inked before they can be issued a ballot. And once they get a ballot, they can go into the voting compartment, mark their X, fold their ballot to conceal how they voted, and then show it to the presiding officer before dropping it in the ballot box.
Okay, seems pretty simple. But I have to ask you, with the advance poll, once you have these ballots, where are they kept? Do you count them right away? Do you have the numbers set aside? Do you have the ballots set aside? Because everyone else is going to be voting on May 12th. So what happens in between there with those ballots?
So in respect to the ballots, At the end of the night, the presiding officer, who's in charge of the poll, will count the ballots, not unfolding the ballots, but just getting a count of how many ballots are in the ballot box. Those ballots will then be sealed in an envelope, um, placed back into the ballot box, and those boxes would be held by the police until just before election day.
Okay, so they're counted with the others for election.
Yes, as the
Okay.
commissioner would have said on last night on one of his media shows, he would have explained that um, on the morning of election, whichever presiding officer receives that ballot box, when they've emptied the box, their election day box, once that is empty, if they receive the advance poll ballot box, they will open that box. They will take out the envelope and they will empty those advance poll ballots into the election day ballot box and lock and seal it.
Okay. And then the biometric cards, that was new this time around. Tell us what
Yes.
that process has been like and how can people come and collect those, the second batch of biometric cards?
Well, particularly in Grand Bahama, the commissioner would have said that Grand Bahama had a very large turnout for persons who wanted to get the biometric card. So in the first instance, we received the biometric cards for West Grand Bahama. And then last week, we received for the other constituencies, which are Central Grand Bahama, East Grand Bahama, Marco City, and Pine Ridge. So commencing today, we'll be distributing those cards, and persons have been inquiring the locations for collection. For Central Grand Bahama, the venue will be the Freeport Post Office. For East Grand Bahama, the venue will be the Lila Gonzalez Room at the Pro Cathedral of Christ the King. Marco City and Pine Ridge will be collected from the Parliamentary Registration Department downtown. And of course, at our office in the West Grand Bahama area, persons can still collect the biometric cards down there.
Okay. So if you have your biometric card now, what will the process look like for the next election in 5 years? Do we still need to go through the process again of registering? The purple cards are going to be done away with. What's that process going to look like just before we close?
So the purple card was made a permanent card, and then the government decided to introduce the biometric card. Based on the new legislation, your biometric card is good for 10 years, and then you'll have to come in and verify again. And there's, of course, a possibility that they will change that card and provide a different card with different, I guess, security features.
Okay. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure having you on. I know you've got your work cut out for you. Thank you for being up so early with us, and thank you for all the work that you're doing to get us all registered and sorted to vote. We really appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Bahamas at Sunrise. Be sure to get out there and get your vote in. We'll be right back.